Hello, Banff Nation. We are finally back live on Twitch tonight. I am one of your hosts, Lauren, your friendly neighborhood bye. And of course, we have the marvelous, beautiful, stunning, show-stopping, never been done before, Lisa. How are you, Lisa?
Hi, I'm fantastic. I am Lisa, aka the OG Nocturne, and I'm just so excited on this December day. It is officially the holiday season. We can talk about Christmas and all that stuff and not have people like roll their eyes. Don't get me started. I start celebrating Halloween in August and Christmas in November. I'm one of those people, but now it's official and I'm ready. Let's do it.
Woo! We are ready! Yes! We are so ready. Well, for those of you tuning in tonight, thank you so much for jumping in. We know this wasn't as planned as we wanted it to be, but as Lisa said, it's a holiday season. Work is crazy for all of us. I don't know about you guys, but I know for me and Lisa, it has been. But we're so happy to be here. We have some fun stuff to talk about. We've got a little game to play with you all, and then we've also got some stuff we want to give away. I've got 2 Kurt art prints I want to give away to people, which is very exciting. And Lisa has the gold mine, though. Lisa has Excalibur #1 hand signed at a con that she got. She didn't buy from anybody, by Chris Claremont, which is super duper exciting.
And you'll get the story behind it too, because the story was amazing. Because I already told the story on the podcast, the episode with Mav that we did recently, but still, it's a funny story.
We're gonna tell it again. She's gonna tell it again because
we'll tell it later when we give it away. So
yes, it is going to be a really great time. But I know, again, it's kind of last minute for us planning this, and people are probably gonna come on a bit later. So I figure we can just get started and talk about Kurt in 2022. This has been a really weird year, I think is a good word, no matter how you feel about Legion of X and all this other stuff with Kurt. It's been a weird year for Kurt. Would you agree with that at the bare minimum?
It feels like there's 2 different Kurts being written about right this year, because you have Legion of X, which is like, Furt, and then you have Immortal X-Men and Judgment Day, which was, the best Kurt has been in a really long time. So it's so disconnected, and I can't like, other than characters like Wolverine, which it's almost a joke how many books he appears in, and how it's kind of silly, like his canon doesn't exist because he's being written in so many places at once. But it's rare to have a character who's being written in the same timeline and being written so different. I don't know. I'm baffled.
Yeah, and the crazier part too is that we got these 2 different Kurts, but we've only really gotten, according to us, real Kurts once, and that was one issue that happened pretty recently in the year, like later in the year. Whereas, all the other stuff with Legion X and all of that, whether there have been better moments, I think most Kurt fans are like, that's not completely who Kurt is. There are things that aren't right. There are things that are missing his character, things like that. So we've got like all this chunk of this year of fake Kurt, hashtag as we say. And then we've got this tiny little bit of real Kurt. Like, what does that even mean? What does it mean when you've got, one writer, Cy Spurrier on Legion of X, writing Kurt a certain way, and you have a whole other writer that writes a lot of the other, X stuff, or has been recently this year, like Immortal X-Men, things like that. And he does one issue of him, like, near perfect, depending on the Kurt fan.
I don't know. See, I look at it as, like, our expectations, I feel like, as Nightcrawler fans over the years have been so low, because it's been such a long time since any writer has really taken a real interest in him to do anything interesting with him or exciting. The last time anybody really did, it was Chuck Austen, and we all know how that went. So, it's just, I'm speaking truth. Am I right? So the point I'm making though is, it almost feels like, if you're starving and someone hands you, like, if you're starving and you've never had food before, and someone hands you a McDonald's hamburger, you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is the best freaking food I've ever had in my life. This
right.
Amazing. And then, like, a couple weeks down the road, someone's like, oh, but have you ever had this, like, hamburger from Five Guys? And it's like, hold on a second. It can be better than that McDonald's hamburger? Whoa. It can, like, that's what I feel like we're going through. You know what I mean? We're, like, in that, hold on a second, there's better out there that we can have, and that's, I think, yeah, what's happening.
Yeah, it feels exactly like that, and I it's hard putting in that perspective because I completely agree with you. But on the other hand, I always try to be careful, making comparisons like that because at that point, then it makes it sound like Cy Spurrier's the bad guy, right? And that Kieran Gillen is like our godsend and like a good, or at least at the bare minimum, a better creator or person. And I try my best not to throw creators down as well, but like at this point, it's like to be fair, I believe Cy Spurrier has done interviews this year and talked about Legion of X, like vocally, like, on pods and stuff. I haven't listened to them yet, so full disclosure, I need to do that because I'm very interested as to what he really thinks he's doing here. Like, is he actually really invested in Kurt? Because I find that hard to believe when this writing happens. Like, so I need to do more. I need to do more research myself and try to hear what he said because I have a feeling he's more focused on a big plot and all these other things he's written to Legion of X as a line than, oh yeah, so Kurt is the centerpiece. We do have these other things going on that are important, but he's the centerpiece. I have a feeling that's not how it's being written, even though it's been heavily marketed that way.
So here's the thing. I think that he is picking up on on what Chuck Austin started in the Draco and his run, and I think it's like super apparent because what Chuck Austin was working towards, and we've talked about this in the podcast several times, so I apologize for going over it again, but it's my podcast, so guys, I'm sorry about that. But so Chuck Austin, what he was going for was he was trying to create this idea that among mutants there are like sub races of mutants. And so, for example, like Nightcrawler was of a sub-race called the Nephiim or whatever. And then Angel was of a sub-race called the Chephiim, or again, I'm saying these words awful. Bobby was supposed to be of a sub-race of ice mutants. And it's really fucking stupid. I'm just going to say it straight up. It's dumb. It's not a great idea because it limits you. When you start saying that you suddenly have to have a sub-race, it's like, okay, so is there like a sub-race of weird, ugly bird people like Beak? Like, is that what you're telling me? Come on, guys. So going back to that, so what I'm saying with Cy Spurrier, it seems like this is clearly where he's going with it, is Angel and Nightcrawler seem to be the only characters right now that are affected by this ridiculous whatever something blah blah blah, who cares. And but those were the exact same characters that in Chuck Austin's run were like the main plot drivers of this whole race thing. So that's why I'm like, what guys, I mean, it's all written down. Like we've read, we can read it. We've read it before. It's there.
Yeah, it is, and that makes a lot of sense. Actually, what you're saying, connecting it with the Chuck Austin stuff, which I just don't understand why you would do that. In terms of like, you already know how poorly received that was by fans and even other creators alike. I mean, it's one of the most controversial and not even controversial, well hated or disliked things that have been done to X-Men in modern years. I just don't understand why you would choose to go off that knowingly. Like, even if you as a creator, for whatever reason, whether I disagree or not, really believe in that story, why do you think that's worth the risk? Because your story has to be really damn good, I feel like, to risk that. And unfortunately, even though Legion of X has had some good moments, it is not hitting that for me.
Okay, so actually, I think this makes a little bit of sense because, and I'm racking my brain, but like this has happened. I want to say Riverdale is a good example of it, but it's not the perfect example. But there is like there are types of people, or there have been, who like find campy and stupid media, and then they go and rework it and do something new with it and create something else and suddenly it becomes like iconic. And I'm trying to think, well, I mean, even simple things like you look at like the movie The Room with Tommy Wiseau, like that's considered a cult classic. And then James Franco went and made the movie about that movie. And so it's not unheard of for old things that were at their time considered bad to become over time camp and then be kind of shown in a new light, and then creators wanting to take it in a different direction. But still, it's still That's bad. It's but the thing is that
Right.
that doesn't mean it's still not a bad idea.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. It's one thing I think to take something that is campy and people may have had before, but now people are like, yeah, this is funny, haha, whatever, and embrace the funniness. But to take that campiness that people, the only way they can enjoy it is to embrace the campiness and funniness and to not take it seriously and to try to make it serious and think that's going to work. I mean, it's technically possible it could, right? But it does make sense to take that risk. Again, like, people take risks all the time and challenge when a lot of people don't like things, obviously. But, like, oh my God, it just doesn't. I just don't understand how somebody thought, oh, you want to do that? Oh, you're going to make it serious. Sure, let's take that. Why? You're just wasting the time because, again, I feel like eventually, at some point in the Krakoan era, we're going to get away from whatever the heck they're doing with Legion of X. I am interested to see Mother Righteous play a bigger role in other things. It looks like she might, so that's interesting how that's worked. But like, it's not working, and it just needs to stop. And I have never, like, out of the Krakoan era, I've never won an X book to stop so bad, and I hate that it's the one that is our boy, but it happens. And like you said, we got to take it that we did get something great this year, which was that Immortal X-Men #7 issue. It's magnificent. If you don't even know Kurt, you can read that and go, oh wow, this is him. And I would tell you, yup, that's him. You can either like him or you can get out. There's no middle at that point.
No, I would say if there's an issue of a comic book that you could put in a time capsule, and like 100 years from now, they could open it up and say, this is who Nightcrawler is, that would be it, 100%. It was perfect.
Yeah, it's so well done. Kieran Gillen did such a good job with, really melding some more, modern stuff about Kurt's character with stuff from like the 70s and the 80s of him that really is essential to his character. At least I know you and I agree on that, and many other of our Banff Nation fans do. But he just did such a good job, and I'm just so mad because I'm like, how can a creator who hasn't even been writing Nightcrawler lately, like, 4 published issues at least, I don't know what he does his own time. If you're listening tonight, Kieran, thank you so much. I got you. You got your own downtime. But in all seriousness, like, he hasn't been writing Nightcrawler for the last couple years, I think. The last year or two at least. And this guy who's been writing for a year or two, out of all these issues, right? Like, how do you not get it? How do you not get it?
I mean, he just doesn't want to, is what it comes down to. But I mean, let's do this. Let's talk about the lowest of the low for Kurt in a succinct. The lowest of the low for us for Kurt, and the highest of the high. How about that?
Yeah, so I like it.
For you, we'll start with you. How about what was your lowest of the low for Kurt this year?
Oh my God, that means I have to remember reading Legion of X. That means I can't just block it from my memory forever. Like, I can't block the trauma.
I didn't even read Legion of X, and I'm going to choose from Legion of X, so it's okay.
I'm trying to think of... That's hard. You go first, because I have to think, again, about everything that happened, because it's funny. I remember reading, when I read Legion of X, I really actually tried to focus on the good because I was trying so hard to enjoy it. So I can tell you, like, the couple good things that were decent in Legion of X, but I can't tell you the worst things because I was trying not to focus on them. But before you do that, Lisa, I wanted to say welcome. Somebody just popped in. I haven't seen the chat yet, but feel free to say hi in the comments if you'd like. We've got giveaways coming up later. We've got some Kurt art prints I've got here to give away. Lisa's got Excalibur #1. So feel free to say hi in the chat if you are up for it. We'd love to say hi to you as well. But yeah, Lisa, share to start your low for Kurt this year.
I mean, the horns. Obviously the horns.
Damn, why couldn't I think of that?
I don't know. I'm sitting here the whole time. Thinking to myself, I'm going to let Lauren go first, and I'm just going to repeat exactly what she's going to say because we both are going to say the same things. And then you're not saying it. I'm like, what do you have to be thinking of?
I blocked that too, because no, you're right. And I remember, I think I sent it to you earlier this week. There was a new cover released. Yeah. And I was like, no. So, no, I agree. The horns, I think that has been the most upset I've seen. Like, people have been really, trying to like Legion of X, or they really hated it, but I haven't seen everyone pretty much on the same page about, like, the horns are garbage, like, throw it away.
The horns
So
are terrible. Yeah, the horns are awful. Okay.
Okay. Well, give us the up. Give us your up, Lisa. What was your favorite moment?
Oh my god, my favorite moment was Kurt being a total badass and saving the whole world during Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Like, that was my favorite moment. 100%. Like, he is the whole reason they won.
Yeah, no, 100%. He was the biggest hero for everybody. He was the biggest hero of the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Eternals. I don't think enough people are talking about how important that is to show just how great of a character Nightcrawler is, and the fact that the X office and the Judgment Day office and all that, everybody agreed, you know what, sounds good. Editors, Marvel were like, you know what, go ahead and make him the entire hero. Like, that's such an investment in character. Like, I really hope this is leading to great things for him. And I really wish Kieran would write an ongoing with Nightcrawler leading, but, I can't get everything I want, so.
No, I mean, we can't always get what we want. When we try sometimes. Girl.
Right? I did want to say more specifically, because mine's the same thing, but I had a specific moment. One of my favorite moments from the whole, him being a hero for Judgment Day and all that, was when he said the line of, I forget that, good people need to get angry sometimes. I'm a good person, blah, 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 but sometimes good people need to get angry. We got to remember that. And I freaking love that because it's such a good rallying cry. You can apply that to anything. I think I've said that before, but you can apply it to literally any human rights cause. You can apply it to anything like that. So I think that is like such a good, and I paraphrase the quote. It's way better written than the way I delivered it. But I think that's such, like, if somebody asked me to give a quote that, something Nightcrawler says that really just represents him as a whole, that would be an option. Like, that would be a top option. I'd say, yeah, do that.
Yeah, no, that's a great moment. Absolutely. Well,
so beautiful. Well, let's go into Kurt's looks over the years, because there's you guys watching and listening. So Lisa actually brought this up. She's like, why don't we talk about, like, Kurt's different looks over years? I was like, oh, and, like, we can judge them. We can say what we want. And, we got to judge Lisa and occasionally judge Lauren over here, ready to deliver some harsh, hot takes. So I'm going to put them up on the screen for a second. We'll talk about it. And we've got 7 looks to go through. He may have had a couple more, whatever, but these are the 7 we are starting with. So if you guys think of any other looks that we've missed, let us know in the comments. And maybe we'll try to hunt down a picture.
These are the 7 that we found, like, today before we got started.
We do our best. We do our best, y'all. All right, first look. It is the classic, the essentially OG Kurt look. This look, they always come back to it. It has not completely died, and it never will. What do you think, Lisa?
I mean, so we're gonna call this Banff or Blech. I
love it, Banff or Blech.
Like, hot or not, but Banff or Blech. So
yeah,
this is a Banff from me. It's classic. I mean, so there are very few characters whose costume has not evolved almost at all in almost 50 years of publication, and Nightcrawler is one of them. His costume has remained largely the same in most of his publication. Well, we're going to see a couple deviations over the course of the next couple of images, but yeah, no, this is a Banff, total Banff.
Yeah, 100% agree. Banff, stamp of approval. If you don't know what look to give Kurt, just give him this costume. It's a safe bet, and everybody will love it. So it's not like a safe bet and like, oh, this is kind of okay. It's God tier. Banff, you cannot go wrong with this. Wanted to say hi to anybody else that has popped into the live tonight. Thanks for joining. We are currently going through Kurt looks over the years, just to celebrate and all that. And we do have giveaways that are coming up tonight as well. Later on the show, we've got some art prints I have, and Lisa also has Excalibur #1, hand signed by Chris Claremont. She got to meet him. She's got the story. So be sure to stick around for that. But we got look 2 here, and do I even need to say anything? Like,
it's from the Austin run.
That explains so much.
The problem with the look is not even just that the look is bad, but also that the art is bad. It's just all in all, it's just awful. And so this look specifically comes from a time when it was right after right after the X-Men movies started coming out. And so they were trying to make the comics look more like the movies, which was like more of the leather suits than, like the day glow costumes. So yeah, but it's a black.
It's a blech. Yeah. Nope, I agree. I mean, if there was an option worse than blood in the situation, it would be whatever that was. But I never want to see this again. I hope I block it from my memory because that's just. I apologize to the artist that might have drawn that. Nothing against you, but it's not for Kurt. It's not for him. Look, number 3. I have never seen this one before.
This is from a very it's from like a Nightcrawler like 1-shot or 4-shot. I don't know. From around the same time as the Austin run, but it's like a priest crawler look.
I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. Like, I think there are good things about it. I actually really like the costume on him. The way he's drawn here isn't my complete favorite, but like he's cute here. Like there's something about it. So I'm gonna go with like a low-key Bamf. Like, I'm okay with this. I wouldn't want it forever, but if you wanted to try something similar to this for a little bit, I would be open to it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like Blamf. Like,
dang it, there's a third option. What?
I like, what I like about it too is like one of the when we talked about this in the last episode, one of Nightcrawler's most forgotten powers is that he like blends into the shadows, which is not easy to do when your costume is like bright red. So it makes sense that he has a costume that's like more subdued, and especially he's going through his whole priesthood thing and da 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 da. So yeah, I like it. Good.
Yeah, I think it's solid. All right, number 4. We've got the famous Excalibur cover look.
Excalibur diaper.
I have feelings about this.
I
just look. I like the general the design of him is cool here, but the worst parts are he looks like an elf by his ears. Like somehow you made them too pointy. I don't know how one achieves that, but that happened. And his hair, I'm not a fan of, but literally everything else is really cool. Like the pose he is in, the more swashbuckler look of the costume. It's by no means my favorite, but I like the swashbuckler vibes to this. The stuff with the head is just not working for me.
I don't understand it. I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense because it's like it mixes like fantasy with sci-fi. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like he's wearing like a tunic, and a briefs like he's in fucking Dune, and then he's also got like these futuristic Star Trek looking belts with the X's and shit. Like, and then he's got wraps on his hands like he's in feudal Japan. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous. He's got a little tiny soul patch on top of it. Why is he not wearing pants? I just can't. And like, here's the other thing that really bothers me about it is that this is the look that like Nocturne's dad has. So like Wanda fucked that. So like, I mean,
so I guess my final decision, I think the idea is really cool behind the look, but the execution, it just isn't working. So I'm gonna go with a blah, not a hate blah, but just a blah.
Yeah.
No, just not for me.
Mine's a full. Nah.
And we have this look from the X-Men Red line. I think it was 2018, written by Tom Taylor. Yes. We've got him with this cool red X suit, and then he's got the fluffy beard and the floofy hair going around. Lisa, you already look ecstatic, so I'm gonna let you take it away from here.
This is a bam to me. Like, love it. I love this look because it's very it really captures like the emo vibe that I feel like he's going through. It's like this comes right off the heels of him being dumped by Rachel because she's a lesbian. Like,
Duh.
I mean, it still took 2.5 or something years for that to actually come out, but like that's why Kurt. That's why it wasn't you. It literally was her in this case. But yeah, but like he goes through the whole like I'm gonna grow a beard and like grow my hair all floppy and like I don't care about that girl anymore. And then he has to work with her mom, so it's a whole thing. And I don't know, I just love the look. I usually don't love like all the weird armor on Kurt, but it kind of makes sense here because in X-Men Red they kind of go to weird places, like they do space stuff and they do like under the sea stuff. Like remember Cerebro? Remember that was a thing? And they fly around on a magical sentinel. So I don't mind it as much here. Like there's weirder stuff, but yeah, it's a Banff, total Banff.
Yeah, I agree. It's a Banff. Again, I was gonna ask, would this look be as much of a Banff to you, or would it even still be a Banff if he didn't have the beard?
Oh, that's a great question, and the answer is probably no. The answer, okay, I can't say with certainty I would give it the Banff. I cannot.
Sure. Yeah. And I think that's the point here is that the actual look in terms of so we're talking costume, overall look, we can make that judgment. But if we get down to the costume isn't the Banff. The costume is good, but it's the overall face and I would even say even how his physique is drawn within the costume. I think his physique, the artist, I don't remember who it was, which shame on me. But they did a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so both Banffs from us. With if the beard isn't there, we can't say we like it. I'm with Lisa on that. So
I cannot. I couldn't in good conscience.
Good conscience. All right. So we've got Kurt in a Santa suit. First of all, I think it's great. 10 out of 10. He can come visit me right now. For as long as he wants work. Who needs that? Like, I'll figure it out.
I'm going to give it a ho-ho bam.
I love that. Ho-ho Banff. I agree. I think it's great. There's a reason he's got Lays in his lap. I understand if it's questionable because Kitty is there. Comics. I get that. I'm with y'all on that. Could have selected a better person there. But the whole Kurt with the Santa suit and being like kind of a ladies' man and flirty and shit. I love it.
If they had swapped Cerise and Kitty, that would have been perfect.
Yes. That would have worked. You just fixed the whole thing.
Yeah. So I have one bleh about this image, and that's Brian's butt. Like, look at his butt. It's smaller. His calves are bigger than his butt. Oh my God.
I mean, it's just how it happens, Lisa. I mean, my calves are in better shape than my butt, so I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Listen, if you're from the UK and you're listening, like this is who's representing you, guys. This is what is representing you. I would be up in arms. Listen, say what you want about Captain America. He's got a nice butt.
He does. That's why it's America's ass. It's so good that Marvel put that in a film, a PG-13 film. Yes, they put that in there at the risk of every parent organization blocking them forever.
And I own the underwear that says it.
I love that for you.
Yeah, me too.
True American hero right there, Lisa.
And it's the most comfortable underwear. It is so fucking nice.
We've got one final look to talk about. I'm going to share this differently because it's a long image. This is Kurt's look currently in Legion of X. I think, wait, am I wrong on this? Did he not have, he had a different look in Immortal X-Men 7, did he not?
I think it was similar. He might have had like different sleeves.
I'm going to pull it up and just take a look. And if it is, I'm going to put it on the screen. But yeah, you share your thoughts on this first, Lisa.
I mean, it's a Banff. It's like the one thing that Legion of X has done right is the look. I like it. It's good. It takes the classic line and the classic colors of Nightcrawler and it like updates it in an interesting way. And it also because he's kind of playing this cop character, or he's like playing a detective character, like having that kind of coat makes sense in that context. So I enjoy that. So yeah, I'm down with it.
Yeah, no, I think the design is fine with the costume. It's solid. I think what makes it a Banff for me, and I pulled up the cover of Marvel X-Men 7 because you're right, the costume is the same, but it's the art style and the execution.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at this,
Yeah, same thing.
this looks so much better to me. One, he has the beard, fully grown, and it's
Yes.
beautiful. And two, he's in action, moving with his swords, literally bamfing, teleporting. It looks so much better that way to me.
Oh my god. I just had the craziest thought. Could you imagine if you were the person who was working on the eggs every time Kurt had to hatch, like when he was getting hatched every time?
If what? I'm sorry?
I don't know. Let's edit this whole part out because I have no idea what I'm talking about at this point.
You can't edit a live, Lisa. You just have to suffer with what you've done.
That's true, and I am suffering, and so is that. So are all of you. And if you're suffering out there like me, let us know in the comments.
Let us know. You sound like an infomercial. Let us know in the comments. Thank you so much, everyone, and we will talk to you next time.
There it is, exactly.
I think it's perfect. Well, out of all those looks that you can recall, what would you say is your biggest Banff?
Oh, the X-Men Red look.
The X-Men Red, so this one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, it's really good. I think, if I'm very honest, I think the classic is my favorite, but I want to make a caveat. If he has this with his beard, that's it.
Okay.
That's the T.
That's
I would really like to see that. I've seen artists do it before. Like just outside artists,
Yeah.
not doing a actual X-Men book, doing fan art or something, and it's glorious. Nothing gets more Kurt than this look. There are going to be plenty of other glorious looks, and there are, but you put this and then you put the beard. What am I supposed to do? Say no? I don't want to.
Listen, no one does. No, I agree. That's a good look. It's classic. You can't go wrong, like you said. I mean, if you're drawing Nightcrawler, someone asks you to draw Nightcrawler. That's the thing. If someone were to ask you to draw Storm, there's not one specific like go-to costume that you can think of that's like, this is the one I'm going to draw for her, for this person that I know for a fact that they're going to like, because she's got so many different costumes and people have favorites. And like Jean Grey is another great example. I mean, there's the whole green dress thing, right? So, but like with Nightcrawler, it's like Nightcrawler's got that one costume, and it's the one that everyone knows and loves, and you could draw that 1,000 times over, and no one would be disappointed.
Yeah, every single time. It's completely true. I think that's something I really love about Nightcrawler too in general, is that he is a character, and even something simple as looks, there's not much you need to change about him. People have changed him, obviously, but at the end of the day, there's not much you really need to change about Kurt to make him more likable or to do different. He's such a human character, and I think we've talked about this before, on our pod and various episodes, where he's just the most human it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't have to worry about like. Thank God we don't have to worry about a green dress scandal. Like, can you imagine people are like, don't bring back the classic red costume? Nobody's going to say that here because, one, they're two different situations, and two, because this is fantastic.
Yeah, and he also like he came to the X, like he's one of the only he's one of the only characters who like came to the X-Men with his costume. Rather than like the others who got their costumes at the X-Men. So
yeah, no, it's just it is so fun. He is so great. This has just been the wildest year for him, I think. Well, maybe not the wildest in terms of shit, because we all know the Malfoy happened. Hint, hint. But I just wanted to briefly talk about as well his family and kind of what's happened with the family this year. Mystique and Destiny are still, going up and up, as a couple more than ever. We've got Destiny more involved, Mystique basically at her whim as always, and as we always knew was happening. We've got Rogue and Gambit having, familial interrelational issues with Destiny, because Destiny's like, fuck Gambit. We keep getting reference to Nocturne, but Marvel keeps teasing Lisa and the rest of us. I mean, what are we supposed to do?
I can't do this anymore, Marvel. I can't. I just can't. I keep coming back. I don't know what to say. But
yeah, It's crazy. And Wanda just got like, where is she? I mean, I know she's getting her own like little series coming up, which is cool for her. But like, where is she? Lisa's looking.
I've been looking this whole time. I'm like, Wanda, girl, where you at, girl? I can't find her. Nobody can find her. Like,
right?
I got her hat. It's right there.
I mean, don't you think she wants it back? Like, where's she gonna do? Not come back?
Listen, that bitch can figure it out. She's an adult. She can do her own thing. You know what I mean? But anyway, I think we should get to doing a giveaway. Don't you think?
Yeah.
All right. If you're here and ready for the giveaways, post in the comments so we know you're here, and we will go ahead and get those giveaways started.
Yes, giveaways. I'm so excited. I've been just trying so hard to make sure I am prepared for this glorious moment for everything happening.
If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, we're going to end it here, I guess. And, you're simply amazing and all that, whatever. But for those of you who are here, we're going to get into those giveaways in just a second.